You play by the rules. You keep your head down. You try to be good, honest, reasonable, and still you feel powerless. People walk over your silence. They turn your kindness into weakness. You stay loyal. They stay strategic. You show your heart. They sharpen their blades. They don't care how good you are. They care how much control you hold. You've lived like a man, but men are broken every day. What survives is something else, something colder, something untouchable. There comes a moment when a man stops asking and starts deciding, when he stops chasing approval and becomes the storm others must endure. That moment is rebirth. And Machiavelli would call it one thing: God mode. No emotion, no guilt, no second guessing. Only pure strategy, wrapped in silence and delivered without mercy. You become the one they cannot read, cannot predict, cannot touch. This isn't divinity, it's domination. This video isn't here to motivate you. It's here to rewire the way you think, to eliminate the obedient version of you, to awaken the part that commands without raising its voice, moves without being seen, and bends outcomes to its will. Machiavelli didn't wait for power. He constructed it. Now you will too. Before you become powerful, you must destroy the part of you that needs to be noticed. The desire for recognition is the first weakness your enemies will exploit. Machiavelli understood this. He watched rulers collapse not because they lacked strength, but because they wanted credit. They wanted praise, admiration, applause. The moment you crave that, you hand others leverage. God mode begins with invisibility, not physical, psychological. You no longer act for applause, you act for results, quietly, strategically, without needing validation from anyone. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. But before the world fears you, you must stop fearing its opinion. Here's the truth. People won't value your moves until they need you. They won't notice your power until it threatens them. They won't respect your silence until it starts shifting outcomes. So let them talk. Let them underestimate you. Let them believe you're irrelevant. All the while, you build leverage in silence. A man who needs recognition reveals his hand too early. He speaks when he should stay quiet. He tries to appear powerful instead of becoming powerful. That's not God mode. That's ego hiding insecurity. If you want real power, move like a ghost. Detach from image. Detach from applause. Detach from needing to be seen. You're not here to be liked. You're here to be undeniable. And that comes from actions with consequences, not emotions with explanations. The more invisible your motives, the more dangerous your presence becomes. You don't need to shout. You don't need to convince. You simply alter the outcome, and they wonder how you did it. You don't control people by raising your voice. You control what they feel when you walk into the room. That feeling must be fear. Not terror, not rage, fear. The subtle kind, the kind that makes them hesitate before speaking, the kind that forces caution before crossing your boundaries, the kind that lowers their eyes when yours meet. Fear is the purest currency of power. It doesn't lie. It doesn't shift with public opinion. It creates order when morality fails. Machiavelli understood this deeply. In a world full of soft ideals, he offered hard truth. Men offend the one who makes himself loved far more easily than the one who makes himself feared. Why? Because love invites familiarity. Familiarity invites weakness. But controlled fear commands caution, respect, silence. So here's the shift. You no longer care how they feel about you. You care what happens inside them when they think of you. Your presence becomes a trigger. When they hear your name, they feel weight, expectation. The memory of your silence, the discomfort of being studied. You don't threaten people, you condition them. Step 1. Use unpredictability as a weapon. Predictable people are easy to manipulate. You smile when they expect it. You talk when they demand answers. You react when they provoke. Break that pattern. Your silence should create doubt. Your approval should be rare. Your reactions should be calculated, not emotional, but tactical. Never let them know what you're thinking. Let them guess. Let them project. Let them fear being wrong. They will adjust their behavior to avoid triggering you. This is not cruelty. It is design. Step 2. Be disproportionate occasionally. Stay calm 95% of the time, but 5% of the time, be merciless. Let them see what happens when you're crossed. Not always. Once is enough. And when it happens, don't explode. Don't complain. Deliver consequence. Withdraw opportunity. Remove access. Close doors quietly. When it lands, it must be clean, cold, final. That single moment rewires how they approach you forever. Step 3. Weaponize absence. Nothing is more powerful than someone who disappears when expected and appears when no one is ready. Absence creates tension. Tension builds influence. Most people use attention to feel important. You use absence to create gravity. Leave conversations unfinished. Walk away from disrespect without explanation. Delay replies until silence speaks louder than words. They'll think about you more when you're gone. That's when influence multiplies. Remember this: power doesn't chase, power lingers. Step 4. Never explain. Never defend. Explaining is subtle submission. When you justify yourself, you imply others have authority over your decisions. They don't. Let them question your motives. Let them speculate. Remain above it, untouched, unbothered. They will fear what they cannot understand. God mode is not loud. It is not chaotic. It is clinical, deliberate, psychological. You don't dominate by noise. You dominate by conditioning perception until they no longer see you as just a man, but as a presence they don't want to offend. Power becomes vulnerable when visible. The more they see you pulling strings, the easier it is to cut them. That's why the highest form of domination operates in silence, not the loud ruler, the shadow behind the throne, the one who shapes outcomes without fingerprints. If you want real power, stop trying to look powerful. Step out of the frame. Let others take credit. Let others draw attention. You build results quietly, without applause, without evidence. You don't give orders, you guide. A conversation here, a suggestion there. Then you disappear. While they argue, you observe. While they compete, you calculate. While they chase recognition, you build control. Piece by piece. Control is not noise, it's effect. Your words don't have to echo. Your decisions do. The man who walks in demanding control is insecure. The man who sits quietly while the room adjusts around him, that is authority in disguise. This is the elegance of God mode. You win without fighting. You dominate without shouting. You are not in the spotlight, but the spotlight bends toward you. They'll believe they made their own choices. They'll never notice the lines you drew. Because real control isn't just about fear, it's about becoming unreachable. Power is not only what you do, it's who they believe you are. The strongest man in the room isn't always the loudest, richest, or most aggressive. Often, it's the one whose image feels untouchable. Not fame, not popularity, persona. Machiavelli understood perception. What people believe about you often matters more than truth. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you truly are. So give them an image sharpened and filtered. Let them imagine you. Let their fear and curiosity fill the blanks you never reveal. When your persona is untouchable, your moves become secondary. They're already reacting to your shadow. Become the man whose name is spoken in rooms he never entered, the one they prepare for, the one they cannot fully understand. You build that image not by declaring who you are, but by becoming mystery wrapped in power. Say little, make it count. Move rarely, make it shift everything. Appear composed, controlled, above it, and they will project greatness onto you. The more they see, the less they fear. The less they see, the more they imagine. And imagination turns into legend. Give them nothing to weaponize. Don't overshare. Don't argue. Don't defend. Let results speak. Let silence protect. If someone challenges you, your presence should make their voice sound weak before you even answer. That is inevitability. When your image becomes untouchable, influence becomes automatic. You don't beg, you don't chase, you don't explain. You exist, and others adjust. That is dominance, not chaos, gravity. Now the final chain, emotion. As long as emotion controls you, you are controllable. Anger can be provoked, guilt manipulated, pride baited, affection exploited. Emotion is the leash, logic is the blade. You don't eliminate emotion, You master it. Feel everything. Act on nothing until it serves strategy. Smile through betrayal. Wait through disrespect. Strike when position demands it. Stop asking, "Is this fair?" Start asking, "Does this strengthen me?" Justice comforts the powerless. Leverage empowers the strategic. When you detach from emotional reflex, you become unpredictable, unshakable. They'll call you cold, ruthless, changed. Good. You didn't lose your soul. You reclaimed it. This is the final level. Not rage, not revenge, transcendence. Emotion becomes tool, not master. Pain becomes data. Loss becomes recalibration. You move quieter, colder, clearer. You stop seeking approval. You stop needing forgiveness. You stop asking to be understood. The game continues. But now you are no longer playing as a man seeking validation. You are a strategist without chains, a ruler without hesitation, a presence without weakness. God mode activated. And there is no going back. You've detached from emotion. You've mastered invisibility. You've built a persona no one can touch. Now you must never step back into the cage you just escaped. The final trap isn't fear. It isn't weakness. It's comfort. Once power starts working in your favor, the temptation returns. To be liked again. To explain yourself. To rejoin the system you now control. That's the final test. And most men fail it. They rise only to kneel again for applause. They conquer only to ask for love. They win, yet still crave acceptance from the world they've outgrown. Don't be one of them. Machiavelli never admired the man who won once. He admired the man who stayed in power by never stepping off the throne, the one who ruled in silence and never gave people the opportunity to strike back. It is much safer to be feared than loved when one of the two must be lacking. Why? Because fear doesn't fade when you're absent. But love is temporary. Love can be redirected. Love creates entitlement. Power is not built for emotional sustainability. It is built for strategic survival. Keep distance between who you are and what they see. Let them know the mask, not the man. Because if they believe they know you, they'll believe they can defeat you. But if your thoughts remain hidden, your motives unreadable, and your silence consistent, they will never know where to strike. This is the essence of staying above the system. You no longer belong to anyone, no crowd, no movement, no ideology. You are your own kingdom, ruled by cold principles, not shifting emotions. You listen to everyone, reveal nothing, make everyone feel included, attach yourself to no one, say enough to remain relevant, never enough to be predictable. You become the man people reference, admire, and fear, yet never fully understand. When they try to study you, they find fragments, pieces, echoes, shadows, because you've become more than a man. You've become a presence, not tied to rules, not confined to a title, not subject to any hierarchy but your own. This is how power becomes permanent. You make yourself untouchable, not through force, but through disappearance. You rise above conflict by controlling it. You stop defending yourself and start becoming the myth that doesn't need to explain. The more unpredictable you are, the more stable your rule becomes. The more invisible your strategy, the more undeniable your impact. They may challenge others, never you. Not because you terrify them, but because they no longer feel like they operate in the same dimension. And they're right. You've outgrown the game. You've bent the game. You are the game. So, you stay above it. Never step back down, because the moment you do, they will test you. They will try to understand you. They will believe they can reach you. Don't give them that hope. Be present, but untouchable. Be seen, but unreadable. Be known, but never truly known. This is how rulers become legends, not by showing power once, but by sustaining it through mystery, fear, and design. You are no longer in the system. You are the force moving its walls. Welcome to the highest level. This is God mode, and once it's activated, you never turn it off. Now you see it. The world was never against you. It was simply indifferent to weakness. You weren't betrayed. You were exposed. You weren't overlooked. You were readable. You weren't denied power. You simply hadn't earned it the way real power demands, in silence, in discipline, in control. But that version of you is gone. You no longer crave understanding. You no longer waste energy on fairness. You don't lower yourself to explain to those not operating at your level. You've become the architect, the silent force behind the curtain, the man no one sees coming, but everyone feels when he enters the room. This is the final evolution. No emotions to exploit, no patterns to predict, no image to destroy, because you now shape images. You are no longer part of the crowd. You observe the crowd, you influence the crowd, and if necessary, you dismantle it. You've activated God mode. You are not their equal. You are their lesson. Let them talk. Let them guess. Let them wonder how you operate. They won't find explanations, only results, only consequences, only your name, whispered with fear, mentioned with respect, never fully understood, because that is the cost of power. You stop being relatable. You become inevitable. So now the question is, will you use it? Will you take this blueprint and build something untouchable? Or will you fall back into the comfort of weakness, the illusion of safety? Make your choice. And if you're ready to rule from the shadows, to win without being seen, to dominate without raising your voice, then this channel was built for you. Like this video if it awakens something inside you. Subscribe if you're done following and ready to command. Share it with those still asleep. They may not understand it, but the ones who are ready will feel it. This is the world as Machiavelli saw it. Now it's yours.